record to the computer. There we go. Hello, everyone. Yep, Genevieve, that's fine. No problem if you have to leave. All good. Romina, hi. Forgot to connect my audio. Couldn't hear anything. Okay, welcome. Hello. Welcome, everyone. I'm just going to be periodically adding people in as they continue to enter into the waiting room. Alrighty. There we go. We'll go here. All right. Okay, we've got Kelly, we've got Maya. Hello. I'm going to be muting everyone. Kel, I'll mute you. All righty. Cool. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really, really excited and excited to dive into this training that I've prepared for you. As I was saying before, I have been pretty busy doing a lot of research over the past week, research into the current market trends, research into what's happening in the economy, how it's going to be impacting business, and most importantly, how we can learn to adapt and pivot really decisively and quickly to ensure that we're staying ahead of the curve. So I know there's a lot of people out there who are in a lot of fear. I know there's a lot of you who are here on the call who are practitioners who run in-person clinics, who have suddenly had all of their clients dry up, or not dry up, but all of their clients discontinue coming. So I really understand the intensity of what's happening at the moment. Absolutely. And I think the incredible thing about this is that we are literally all in it together. So it's at times like this that I really believe that community, and I'm going to be talking a lot about this today, community is key, community is essential. So I'm just going to pull up my notes here on the side of the screen so I can stay on track, because I could probably talk about this for a long time. Let me do that. Okay, cool. So first of all, welcome. Thank you for being here today. I'm really thrilled that you're all here, that we're all able to gather in community like this. Pretty amazing that we have the technology to do this at this point in time, isn't it? And I have no doubt that we're all going to be relying very heavily on the technology around us to continue keeping in touch, to continue growing our business, to continue stepping up in leadership and serving our community and our tribe. Because at this point in time, I believe the most important thing is service. So I'm going to talk a little bit today about what I mean by that. I'll just give you a little bit of an overview of what I'm going to be talking about. So I'm going to be covering 4 components today. The first one, we're going to be looking at cash flow, community, and clientele. The second element is going to be marketing, messaging, and positioning. The third element is going to be learning how to readjust your offers to suit the current climate. And the fourth one is going to be transitioning online. So I know there's a number of you who already work online. There's a number of you who work offline. So we'll be able to really pool all of our knowledge and our genius so that we can really come together. I'll admit one more person. Hi, Donna, welcome. Really come together to continue serving our clients, to continue building our community, and to continue doing our soul work. If you're in this call, if you're familiar with my work, and if you're attracted to the work that I do, my biggest bet is that the work that you do in your business is your soul work. This is like your life's work. This is what you feel you're on the planet to do. This is incredibly important to me, and it's incredibly important to all of my clients. And I understand the personal implications of that very well. But in times like this, which we could call crisis, we could call opportunity, there's lots of different ways to look at it. This is where we are really being called to step up into our soul work like never before, especially if you work in the service-based industries, especially if you work in the health and wellness industries, if you work in the business consultation industries, if you have gifts that can help your clients to feel better about themselves, to feel more secure and more safe within themselves, then now is your time. So my invitation to you over the next potentially 90 minutes, let's try and keep it under 90, it will definitely be under 90 minutes. My invitation to you is to start to lean into what your idea of leadership looks like in this time. Because now more than ever is our call to step up into leadership. I do not believe that this is the time to step into denial. I don't believe that this is the time to sit back and watch what happens and, you know, get our popcorn. I know that it's really tricky and challenging when we have little ones running around. When we're stuck at home with our families, usually we're used to having time to ourselves, time to cool down. And we all understand the challenges of that. And it is going to be a great opportunity and a great challenge to learn how to manage everything. But if you want your business to stay ahead of the curve, meaning if you want it to continue to be solvent, to bring in revenue, to be serving your community and your clients, then now is not the time to pull your hands off the reins, as much as you might want to do that. And I've been really struggling with that a lot as well, because I've been dancing between wanting to really come into the yin, into the inward world, back into the home, and, you know, be there for my family and cook beautiful, nourishing foods and slow down. And also with this knowing that actually that I can do both, but it's going to require time management. But most importantly, now is the time to speak up, to share your message, to get loud about your work and about the transformation that you facilitate for your clients. And I'm going to talk about how you can shift your positioning and your messaging and your offers to ensure that you're going to continue to generate clients. So most importantly, as well, as we're all pretty aware of the R word, which is resilience. Resilience, emotional resilience, as well as physical resilience and energetic resilience, and entrepreneurial resilience is all coming into play at the moment. So I believe all of those components are equally as important. And I want to especially, you know, touch on, we'll talk a little bit more at the end, but the mindset implications, the emotional resilience, which is a term that's coined by my father-in-law, who is a trauma therapist. And I love this term, emotional resilience. I think it's really, really powerful. So how is it that we can be more emotionally resilient, more entrepreneurially resilient, and more physically resilient? So this will be a combination of strategy and also mindset and energetics. I'm going to speak first to the strategy because this is what's being called of us to take action, right? And I want to suggest to you that the economy isn't collapsing, but it is very much shifting. And it's shifting very quickly, very rapidly. But this doesn't necessarily mean it's doomsday from an economic perspective. So what does it mean that it's shifted? As I'm sure you're all very aware, the problems that your clients and your community had 2 weeks ago are vastly different from the problems that they have today. And unless you learn how to shift your messaging, your positioning, and your offers through the lens of the current problems that they're experiencing, your marketing is going to fall on deaf ears and it's not going to resonate with your community. So firstly, let's just quickly touch on cash flow, because this is super essential at this time, to be really, really aware of your cash flow, of where is your money going. If you haven't yet done so, I invite you to do an inventory of all of your outgoings. What subscriptions can you cancel? At one point I had like 8 subscriptions going. It was like hundreds of dollars a month of things that I didn't even use, right? So what subscriptions are non-essential that you can let go of? Can you speak to anyone about refinancing any of your loans? Is there some way that you can shuffle your outgoings and your debt to ensure that you're not spending as much as you're spending at the moment? And of course, if you are in a situation where your income has stopped, then reach out to your real estate agent, to the bank, to the government. There's a lot of support out there at the moment. And don't be afraid to do that. I've spoken to a few clients who have felt a lot of emotion around that, a lot of shame around that, around needing to do that. And now is not the time to be dragged into shame. So if you're in that position, I encourage you to do that, to take up the offers that are available and the opportunities that are available. But we want to really, in times like this, we want to really look at decreasing our outgoings and increasing our incomings, right? Makes a lot of sense. It's pretty basic. So most importantly, how can you reduce your expenses and how can you conserve your cash that you have? That's one of the most important things to think about at this time. Meaning, like what I've just said, is there other opportunities that you can reach out to, and obviously learning how to transition your business, whether it's offline, online, and starting to be really adaptable in the market and really flexible with the market, what's happening with the changing economy. So if you can be a leader in this time who shows up with certainty, who shows up with solutions and with confidence, you will still be able to get sales. But your most important task right now is to step up into your leadership. And if you can do that, you will still be able to grow your business sustainably, I believe. If you adapt a lot of the strategies that I'm going to teach you today, then it will help you even more. So the number one thing that is changing at the moment, it's not changing really, this should be actually the number one staple for your business no matter what's happening in the world. But the most important area I believe for you to be focusing at the moment is on your community. So the people who are currently around you, your current clients, your past clients, the people who have expressed interest, the people who are fans of your work. I believe that over the next 3 months, who knows how long it will go on for, but let's say at least the next 3 months, this is an amazing opportunity. Danielle, there you go. Hi, Danielle, welcome. This is an amazing opportunity to build your community if you haven't already done so. And if you have done so, it's an important opportunity for you to solidify the community that you have. So you really want to be reaching out to your current clients, to your past clients, to anyone who's expressed interest, and just touching base personally, I think. Touching base. Hey, how are you going? What do you need? How are you dealing with everything? I'm here for you. Is there anything that you need that I can support you with? I believe that if we do this really powerfully with enrollment, with connection, with inspiration, that we can be creating fans for life or clients for life, whether they work with us for life or not. This is our community of people who love us and who see us as their go-to mentor in your particular area of specialty. And that's really what you want to be focusing on for now. So how can you continue to solidify, well, not solidify, but how can you continue to ease into that ability to be a mentor, to be seen as a mentor, and to have your community see you as their go-to mentor? So really, at this point, it's about over-delivering for your current clients and for your community. So what can you offer them that can help them in this time? How can you go above and beyond? It's important, I believe, incredibly important, that your clients and your customers see your service as an investment, not as an expense. If they see your service as an expense, then you're going to be on the cull list, right? As we talk about an inventory of all of our outgoings. So how can you help your clients and your customers and your community to see the value, the deep value, the ongoing value of your work, and to see the return on investment of investing with you, and also the ripple of impact of your work with them? So if you're familiar with my work, you know I love to talk about these two ROIs, return on investment, and the real ROI, which is the ripple of impact. We're all in the transformation space, meaning that the work that we do has the power and potential to change lives. It has a big ripple effect. It has a ripple effect for our clients, for their families, which has potentially a ripple effect around the world, I believe. I'm sure you're all on the same page with me there. So your ability to communicate, we're going to talk about this a little bit more in the messaging component, your ability to communicate that, the ROI of your work, the ripple of impact of your work, the investment quality of your work is going to be essential right now. So there will be opportunities for questions as well, guys. So if you had questions, maybe just write them down. And then when I say at the very end or at some point, if does anyone have any questions, then we can put them all in there. So try not to pop any questions yet into the comment box. It kind of throws me a little bit. So another really important thing at the moment as well is to be in this space of appreciation for your clients and customers, and of celebrating the wins, the big wins, the small wins. Every time we celebrate a win in challenging times, we're helping to rewire the brain for success. So every time we celebrate progress, we celebrate something that we've done, whether it was big or small, that's achieved an outcome, a desirable outcome. And especially when you do that with your clients, that's helping to solidify that neural programming around success. So community is number one, essential. So let's shift to talk about your messaging and your positioning at the moment, because that has dramatically changed, potentially. It may not have. But I want to talk about, if you work in, really at the heart of it, I believe, and a lot of the research that I've done, there's really only 3 categories that people will spend money in. The first one is to have a better life. So if you have a service that is in the have a better life space, that means that you help them feel better, whether that's health, whether that's relationships, whether that's living, whether that's any aspect of their life, you help them to feel better, you help them to live better. The second one is make more money. And the third one is avoid going to jail. And I don't think we have any lawyers here. No, okay. So really, when it boils down to it, there's really only 3 categories that people will actually spend money in, right? So we're not going to talk about avoid going to jail. We're going to talk about have a better life and make more money. Right now, the most important thing that your clients and your community and your potential clients need is certainty, security, and reassurance. So 3 weeks ago, we could be messaging rather, live a life of freedom, live a laptop lifestyle, travel and work at the same time, scale your business to multi-7 figures. That's not going to cut it anymore. Now we've gone from the big picture, the big vision. When people are in a state of relaxation, they're much more able to connect with that. When they're in a state of stress and survival, the focus comes right narrow, right down like this, to a narrow point of focus, to safety. What do I have to do to feel safe? What do I have to do to feel secure? What do I have to do to be sustainable? What do I have to do to feel reassured? So they're looking really for certainty, sustainability, security, sustainable income, reassurance. So no matter if you work in the live a better life space or the make more money space, if your work helps people to feel any of those things, then now is the time to shift your messaging through those lenses. So for example, and the other thing as well is that there's going to be a lot of people, there already are a lot of people who are at home on their computers in isolation. They're going to be looking for solutions to their problems. They might not be aware of the fact that that's what they're doing, but they will be on their computers, scrolling Facebook, experiencing a plethora of issues and problems and pains, and deeply wanting solutions and reassurance. So now is really the time to speak up and to show up and to start solving problems. So how can you solve these problems that I've spoken about? Feeling secure, feeling safe, feeling reassured, feeling like you have sustainable income and sustainable support networks. If your work does anything in the nervous system space, if it works with the energetic or the mindset space, if you work in health and wellness, obviously, if you work in business strategy, you must be putting your messaging through this lens. And now is the time to really be talking So how effectively are you communicating that you can help solve your clients' problems? And how quickly are you able to get that message across? Are you able to get that message across in a paragraph? Are you able to get that message across in a few sentences? So if you can, you might have to readjust your positioning and messaging at the moment, and you will have to readjust. I highly recommend that you do that. And if so, how does this impact your ideal client, right? Your soulmate client. As you know, I love to talk about them as a soulmate client. So what's happening in their life right now that is being directly impacted by COVID-19? How is this changing their ability to feel safe and secure in your particular area of specialty? And how can you provide solutions to that, whether that and online solutions? So you might be looking to do some videos. You might look to do some training like I'm doing with you guys today. You might be reaching out in Messenger or email or phone, giving people a call, touching base, saying I'm here for you, and letting people know, reassuring them that you can help them with these problems that they're experiencing, that is your area of specialty. And be repetitive at this time. There's a lot of people, pretty much everyone's in this state of stress, right? Of heightened stress. So the more repetitive you are, the more it's going to help your message to sink in. And I know it can feel uncomfortable when we become too repetitive. It's like, well, people are going to get sick of me. But for now, I want you to park that fear, and I want you to, write down a list of 10 or 15 pain points that you can help your clients solve related to what's happening at the moment, and show up and start talking about that. Like I said before, if you sit back and wait and watch while everything goes down and wait until the time is right, then I do believe that you're going to be left behind. And I don't say that to inspire panic. I want to say that to inspire leadership. So really, we're shifting into a new economy where luxury items are going to be slowing down. Travel, luxury spending, apart from the uber luxury, which isn't going to change, I don't believe. And people are going to have more time and potentially more cash flow more cash flow to spend on education, on seminars, on coaching, provided they see it as a necessity. This is the key here. So how is it that you can look at your business, at your transformational work, your transformational service, and look at it through the lens of, how is my work a necessary solution? Because if they don't see it as a necessary solution, then it's going to be on the cull list. So the thing with necessary solutions as well is that it shifts and changes depending upon everyone, right? So right now, everyone feels like toilet paper is a necessary purchase, right? Obviously, if we're really out in, if there's a big war going on and there is actually no toilet paper, well, then I think we would actually survive, right? Is it really a necessary item right now? It's probably not. It is from a first world problems perspective, but in the long run, like when you really boil down to it, toilet paper is probably not a necessary thing. Like, we have other options, right? But it's how it's been framed for people, and it's how people are viewing it in their brain. So that's a really, really great point to spend a bit of time doing some journaling, doing some channeling, doing some research. If you want to reach out to your past clients that have worked with you, or even current clients that have worked with you, and ask them some of these questions. How's my work helped you feel more safe, secure, certain, and reassured? Give me some examples if they're happy to do that. They should be happy to do that. And then use exactly what they've said. Those words, use them in your marketing and in your messaging, because that's come directly from your client's mouths, your soulmate client, especially if this is a soulmate client. 100% I'd be encouraging you to use that. So what do your clients need to hear from you? What does your community need to hear from you? How can you reassure them? How can you help them see, with integrity, of course, that your work is a necessary and, it's a necessary purchase, a necessary investment rather. It's not a purchase, it's an investment. Meaning, what's the return on investment? What's the ripple of impact? And remembering we're focusing on the smaller problems right now and not the bigger vision for our clients. However, I believe that we need to be speaking about and communicating our big vision. So what's our big vision for the future? What's our big vision once this has all died down? What's the change that we want to see in the world? What's our vision of that? So from a messaging perspective, maybe you can think of this as your permission slip to start getting really real with your tribe, with your community. What have you been holding back from saying? And why? Why? What have you been holding back from saying? And how can you start to bring the most important things to you into your messaging and your communication right now? So talk about your big vision. Talk about what you're a stand for. Talk about the change that you want to see in the world. Talk about all of that, because people need that inspiration. People need that reassurance. And people need to be led right now, which is why we need to be leaders. So leadership, it can sometimes bring up for people a lot of things. It's like it can often be seen as kind of patriarchal or masculine. I do believe that we as women have a very unique feminine leadership style that is very different, and obviously depending upon if you have more of a masculine energy or a feminine energy that's prominent. We always all have both within us. But your ability to lead your community, to, be like the mother hen, right? They got 6 chickens the other day and I'm already noticing the mother hen. There's always one, right? So how can you be the mother hen for your community? How can you guide them, love them, nurture them, reassure them, help them feel safe, help them feel held, help them feel seen, and help them feel reassured? That is really your number one priority. Okay, so positioning, all right? So we've got messaging, which is a really important aspect of marketing. And then we've also got positioning as well. So who are you positioning yourself in front of? Do they have the capacity to work with you at the level, at the current offers that you have? Do you need to shift your offers? But most importantly, from a positioning perspective, I believe at this time, we need to be thinking about, how can I position myself as an expert? How can I position myself as credibility? Yeah, Romina, there'll be a recording done. How can I position myself with credibility as an expert, as a leader? And like I said before, as the go-to mentor, which probably looks like showing up when you really don't want to show up. Being consistent in your approaches, being consistent in the way that you're delivering your marketing, that you're delivering your outreach. Consistency is so important, especially when there's so much uncertainty and inconsistencies happening at the moment. I'll just have some chai. Your ability to show up with all of those things, certainty, consistency, focus, and determination, is what's going to really help ground you in the work, ground you in your leadership, and help, as a result, anchor your community, because they need anchoring right now. And that's what you're being called to step into. So I don't believe that, I definitely haven't noticed that people have stopped spending money. I'm still signing new clients. A lot of my clients are still signing new clients. I don't believe that people are stopping and discontinuing spending money, but like I said before, they're just being very judicious about who they spend it with. And that probably means that, like I said before, you need to be overly communicative about the outcomes of your work, running it through that filter that we spoke about before. You might need to be repetitive. You also might need to have different options for ways for people to work with you. So it doesn't mean, if you have a higher end offer or a multi-$1,000 package, it doesn't mean that people are going to stop spending on that. It might mean that you look to extending out your payment plan options. Rather than discount your price of your higher end services, I would not recommend that you do that. But how can you potentially give people opportunity to split up the payments more? How can you value load the service? Over deliver. Now is the time to over deliver. So what can you add in as incentives, as bonuses to help them make that decision? And obviously from a cash flow perspective, we want most, like at this point in time, it's going to be most beneficial to have people paying in full if they have the capacity for doing that. So can you offer higher levels of pay in full bonuses? Or if they actually cannot afford or justify the pay in full, how can you split it up to make it easier for them? But I don't believe that you should be discounting even in times like this. What I would recommend that you consider is some sort of lower end group offer. So this is what I'm working on at the moment, is like a group where we meet maybe twice a month for a couple of hours. They don't have as much access to me as my mastermind women and my one-on-ones, but I'm helping them solve a number of very specific problems that are very relevant to them. So they have access to me in the group. There would be a Facebook group, and I might put that at $197 a month and have it opt out anytime. I'm still playing around with the price, but that's very new to me. Usually it's a minimum of $3,000 to work with me, but obviously at this point in time, we need to be flexible and we need to be adaptable. And I'm really excited to actually experiment with that and to see how that goes. So no lock-ins is probably a good thing right now. So when you're looking at your work, at your magic, the magic that you do with your clients, the transformation that you help facilitate, and you look at the problems that you help solve, can you pick a few of them and offer a small group package or a small group program like this, a small cost group program like this, where people can come and experience the experience the return on investment, especially if you help them create actual outcomes that are, outcomes that are grounded, that are tangible, that they're going to experience fairly quickly so that they start to see the importance of investing more with you. Does that make sense? That's probably the most important thing at the moment, I think, but giving people options. You might not choose to have it be over, it could be 97, it could be 47, whatever you feel comfortable with. But that would be a really, really great strategy to start thinking about and to start acting on. Actually, now's not the time to be thinking about things and pondering things. Now's the time to be decisive and intuitive and adaptable. So that's a strategy that I'm really excited to start implementing. And when it comes to your work, how can you package up a small component of the work that you do and deliver it to people in this kind of a format? Especially if you're transitioning from offline into online, this would be gold for you guys, especially if you have clients, communities, past clients, current clients who still want to work with you but don't know how that looks yet. That could be a good option. I have spoken to a few people yesterday who said that they've transitioned their business online and they've found that people have been really resistant to wanting to actually see them online. So that's going to be, if that's you, if you're experiencing that as well, this is going to be important that you address this in your messaging as well. So address this in your communication. Like meet those objections. Find out what those objections are from your clients, from your tribe, from your community, and address them in your content. Oh, I don't fancy doing an online session because it doesn't feel real to me. Okay, well then how can you address that? How can you solve that problem? How can you help them see that once again, this is an essential investment for them? And that they might have to be adaptable as well. Often people are really afraid of the unknown, afraid of what they haven't tried before. And so you might need to hold their hand as you walk them through this process. But in terms of transitioning your business online, Zoom, as you are all aware at the moment, Zoom is going gangbusters at the moment. And that's a great symbol of people not stopping spending money, right? Zoom's business is booming. Microsoft Teams, booming. Toilet paper companies, tissue companies, hand sanitizer companies, absolutely booming right now. I have a client who is in mortgage refinancing, booming, absolutely booming, too busy, has to offshoot some of her clients because people see that as necessary, right? See it as essential. So transitioning your business online, and I thought at this point it might be good to open up to questions. I know that it is a very different, before we do that, I just want to say, I know I transitioned my business 5 years ago from offline to online, or about 4 years ago from offline to online. And it probably took me 2 years before I really wrapped my head around it. It doesn't have to take you that long. I had a baby in that process, so it won't have to take you that long. But it is a very different ball game. And it's beyond the scope of this training today to talk about the ins and outs and the specifics of that. But to suffice it to say, your best bets are probably going to be email marketing, letting your clients, current clients and past clients know. Facebook is an amazing platform for building client load and lead generation. And also you might want to start looking to some of those traditional or non-traditional lead generation strategies, such as free workshops, free webinars, low-cost workshops or webinars, free trainings that you're delivering on your Facebook page, 5-day challenges, free audio guides, free ebooks in exchange for people's email addresses, and then starting up your email marketing and email nurturing from there. The other thing that I really recommend that you do if you feel that you're at a capacity where you are ready for this is to start up your own Facebook group. Facebook groups are fantastic for community building. So if that's something that you haven't done yet, now is an amazing opportunity, an amazing time to start your own Facebook group. But have it be very centered and focused on a few specific things, right? So you want to have it be very clear who it's for and what they're going to get out of the Facebook group. And I see my Facebook group, I've had a love-hate relationship with it because for a long time I didn't know how to use it or what it was there for or how I could actually use it to grow my business. But it was when I started to see my Facebook group actually as almost like a room in my house where I can invite people in. It's like, this is my space and these are my rules and I teach. This is where I teach. This is where you learn from me. This is where I'm the leader. This is where I'm your mentor. It's a great opportunity to spot those people who are warm leads. I don't like the term leads, warm potential clients, right? They're there, they're loving your work, they're commenting a lot on your stuff, and it's an amazing space to warm your clients up or your potential clients up, to nurture them, to hold space for them, and you know, like when it comes, especially if you're starting up, but really, you should be always doing this, I think, if starting up with your Facebook group, you know, when people join, send them a voicemail or send them a private message. Hey, welcome to my space. Really excited to have you here. Love to hear more about you. Tell me, what do you do? What's your soul work? Or what are you struggling with in this area? This is my opportunity to help serve, or this is your opportunity to I'll try that again. I create a lot of free content. And I would love to know how I can most be of service to you. And I've had so many people respond to me and go, you know what? No one has ever said that to me when I joined a Facebook group. So high touch, high connection, holding space for the end vision, but focusing in on the immediate problems and how you can help them solve that. That's really what I wanted to say today. I'm just looking over my notes here. What have I got here? Oh, I guess there's one more thing as well. And that's, I know I've heard a lot of people say, I don't want to be salesy at this point in time. I don't want to be insensitive. I don't want to flood the marketplace with my offers. And catch that if you find yourself saying that. There's ways to sell elegantly, sensitively. But at times like this, when you see people struggling and potentially you can really help them, who are you not to be making offers? Who are you not to be providing that opportunity for them? So if you're feeling any of that, any resistance there around selling, around being seen as dodgy or greedy or pushy, then check in with that. A lot of my work I do with sales looks at the sales shadow. So if there's anything going on there, it's beyond the scope today to talk about that. If there's anything happening in the shadow, in your shadow around sales, and that's going to be impacting your turnover, your revenue. And I love what Donna said here. If you aren't salesy, you are in service. You aren't salesy, you are in service to those that need you. Absolutely. And Zoe, I'm in my 3rd year. Clients have been steady but not massive. Have many dedicated ones, but only attracting new ones minimally, partly because I've not been ready. What's best approach to pull in a minimal community? So Zoe, that could look like a Facebook group, especially if you had an overall like an umbrella theme or number of themes that you can use to market it, to name it, so that people know exactly. It's not just Zoe's tribe, right, or Zoe's client base or anything like that. It's you've got an actual name and a mission, an MO, a modus operandi that is specific for your clients. I've seen that work really well. My coach at the moment, she has a Facebook group that all of her clients go into, and she provides a lot of support, and that's a really beautiful extension of the support that she provides her clients. So what's this other question? Does that make sense? There's other ways that you could look at it too. I might unmute you, Zoe. Where are you? You might have to unmute yourself.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
It's quite funny. I have actually just set one up, a Facebook group. It was kind of a bit of a whim, and I don't think I've done it properly. But anyway, I'll go back and look at it. But it's called Create Heart, and express a lot with emotions with people. So, and I actually just noticed I got my first person join up, other than me.
Oh, you noticed that today?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So reach out to your people. Hey, I've got this new community. This is specifically for you. I want to support you. This is what you can expect. You might do like a weekly training in there. And if you do that, try and keep it consistent. So on the same day at the same time. A weekly training that solves some of those mini problems or facilitates those mini ahas, mini transformational ahas. And there's different theories around hashtags and things like that. I go back and forth with hashtags. They seem like a lot of work to me, so I don't want to have to admin that. But I know that they do work really well for a lot of other people too. So that can often be, once the group gets bigger, if you want to keep people kind of following the same trajectory, that can be a good option as well. And then, Zoe, do you have packages for your work? How do you work? Is it one-on-one single sessions?
I tend to do one-on-one single sessions. I have got some packages which a few people have joined up with.
Yeah, sure.
I don't think I've really set them up well. It was one of those things where you go, oh, I should do some packages, and you put it out there and then go, it's not really functioning well.
Yeah, sure.
And in actual fact, I don't think I've actually got the price high enough to make it beneficial enough.
Yeah, we can get resentful if that happens.
Yeah.
So packages, I love helping my clients to come up with their own higher end packages. It doesn't have to be a higher end price tag, but importantly, we've got to be thinking about what direction are we moving our clients in. So what's their pain island that they're in prior to living with us, prior to working with us? What's happening, what struggles, what frustrations, what things are really doing their head in that they are seeking help for? And then what's the end pleasure island that you're help guiding them to? So with packages, they work the best when we have that higher level view. It's not just come in for 3 sessions and you'll pay for this much, right? You can set it up that way, but often that's still in the time for money paradigm trap. I think it's a trap. And you're still only working with your clients with their presenting symptoms in many cases. So being able to have that higher level view often means that we can help our clients facilitate better results. And we're actually almost moving more into a mentoring space as well as a healing and coaching and therapeutic space, as we're kind of holding space for their vision and helping guide them toward that. And that's when the beautiful marriage between coaching and healing and therapy and mentoring happens, which is, I believe, is when we're most effective, most powerful, and empowering. But then again, would it work for you and for your client base to set up a low cost or lower cost group that you could bring all of your knowledge? Well, not all of your knowledge, obviously, you have to reserve some of it for your high paying clients. But would that work for you? Would that be a model that could work for you?
Yeah, definitely. And I think the sort of come in and have a low cost thing that builds and grows.
Yeah.
Certainly the package at the moment is, I have set it up that way, that it's here's an option. You can pay once and come once, or just pay for 5 visits and you'll get a discount. And it doesn't have any soul in it. It doesn't have any kind of vision in it. It doesn't have any reason. And that's something I need to look at.
Sure. When you can get the highest level transformation that you facilitate for your clients, and when you can articulate that in a really powerful and concise way, that's when we find it's a lot easier to start to create high level packages.
Yeah.
So what's the highest level transformation? Not what can you do in a few sessions, but like, what is the crux of your soul work? What are you really on the planet to do, right? Yes, you're a kinesiologist, but there's so much more than that. Yeah. And I think sometimes when we lead with our modality, that can be a trap as well.
Yeah.
So that's a bit of it can be a bit controversial. I've said that before, that at the end of the day, no one cares about the modality. They really just want to know that you can help them solve their problems.
Yeah.
So what problems, how do you solve them? What's the outcome? And the tangible outcome, that's the other thing, right? So many, when we do energy work, when we do spiritual guidance work, it's hard to bring the outcomes that are kind of a bit fluffy, right? I'm going to help you feel better. I'm going to help you feel more aligned. I'm going to help you experience more love and pleasure. And they are beautiful outcomes, but they're not grounded enough. And often that's why people don't buy, is because they go, oh, that sounds really good. And maybe one day I will come and experience that, but now's not the time. Or I'll get back to you in a few months. Or, it's because we're not channeling those outcomes down into tangible 3D outcomes that your client can actually imagine for how that would shift their life. They can actually, they can visualize it, they can feel it, they can sense it. And that's quite a challenge. This is one of the things I help a lot of my clients do, is to bring those outcomes and learn how to articulate them in really grounded and tangible ways, so that their messaging lands for people. Otherwise it goes over people's heads.
Yeah.
Hope that was helpful. Do you have any other questions?
Not from me.
Awesome. I'll remute you. So I've seen here, Leanne, I've just set a Facebook group too. Only have a few people, but working well. Yeah. And we'll continue to build that for you in our one-on-one work. So I'm really excited to see that grow. Hi, Tash, can I provide an experience? Of course. Donna, where are you? You still there? There you are. I will unmute you. Oh no, you'll have to oh no, here we go. There you go. Yes. Hi. Yes.
Yeah, look, I don't know if anyone's doing any podcasts, but I actually surprised myself with, in January, I started 2 podcasts, obviously because one wasn't enough, but I have two very different things that I'm doing. And what I'm seeing is people are downloading a lot of podcasts because they're isolated. Yeah. And so I've hit over 100 downloads on each podcast in the period of time that I've been doing it. So
what platforms have you been uploading them to?
So I use what's called Buzzsprout, and I actually have a paid subscription because I do a few. But there's a free one, Buzzsprout, but there's plenty of other free ones. It's whatever works for you. And then I have a website for one of them that I upload onto, and also I always share it on my Facebook pages, and I get comments of people who have actually listened to them. So I get engagement from both.
Beautiful. And that's a really, really great tip to share, because absolutely now is when people are going to be listening to podcasts, watching things on YouTube, and how can you get yourself, your brand in front of those people? Great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And it's interesting because, you know, at first I went like, how am I going to do a podcast? But I figured it out myself just by watching a few clips. I've worked out how to get it onto a free program called Audacity, which converts it and you upload it. And now it takes me no time at all. I've even worked out how to put some nice music in there for it to start and finish with. And like, honestly, ladies, if I can do it, you can do it.
I love Audacity. I've used Audacity a few times with audio guides, and it's a really easy to use program if you're wanting to edit your audio or cut and paste audio, put music on top. I'm sure there's a version for video as well, but I haven't got that far. Have you got that far?
Well, I mean, you can do all of that on Zoom and
yeah, that's true. That's true. Of course. Yeah, of course.
Because what I did is uploaded a Zoom call that I'd done on emotional intelligence, and I uploaded that into YouTube and things like that. So I'm getting better at it. It takes time, but that's only been since January. So
yeah, well done. The other thing as well that we can be thinking about doing is, or not thinking about, if it resonates with you, taking action on doing is setting up interviews on your Facebook page with other people in your network. So people who are, whether that's exactly in the same niche as you, or relevant, or maybe they have an interesting perspective that you like. Maybe you can come up with an interesting conversation. I did that a few weeks ago now, before all of this happened, kind of broke out. But one of my colleagues who specializes in tantric work, and we spoke about the art of receiving. So I talk a lot about receiving money and receiving new clients. She talks a lot about receiving pleasure, receiving sexual energy. And that was a really, really interesting conversation, right? We met really beautifully in the middle. And she could talk to my clients about things that I didn't really have the wherewithal to talk about, and vice versa. So there was a really good crossover. She shared that with her tribe. I shared it with my tribe. And that worked really well. So that's something to consider as well. There's going to be a lot of people on Facebook. I will keep looking here. Christine, the fear of time commitment into Facebook groups is what holds me back. So Facebook groups, you can definitely build your business using other people's Facebook groups. And it is a long game. It does take consistency. It does take showing up. It does take building your platform, building your soapbox for people to start to notice you, for the algorithm as well to start to notice you. That's how I've built my client base, but it has taken time. But what I do now is a lot of my focus is on my Facebook group, and I'm not as consistent as I would like to be with it. So I definitely still have room there to be more consistent with it. But why put your energy into someone else's Facebook group where you can create your own and be the star of your own show? Often that's what freaks people out. They go, I don't want to be the star of my own show. I'm happy being in the corner of someone else's group. I'm going to unmute you. I know, there you are.
My thing is more like consistency, not that it's my Facebook group, but just sort of having to show up. Like once I start one, that I actually have to do something about it and be there and be consistent and
it is. It can hang over you, of like, especially if you have an inner rebel who goes, you can't tell me what to do. I don't want to be consistent. So you might have to have a chat with her.
Yes.
All right, little 16-year-old. I do. But really, it is a beautiful opportunity to create your own piece of Facebook real estate. And obviously Facebook, we don't want to put all of our eggs in the one basket. We won't really talk too much about that, but I have a little bit of, I'll be curious to see how it goes down over the next few years. However, for now, it's a brilliant marketing tool. It's a brilliant opportunity to nurture your clients. With Facebook groups, though, they work best when they are specific. So when there's a specific tangent, when there's a specific thing that you're doing in there, that you're talking about, that you're helping them experience or achieve. Right? That's been my experience. However, and you can think of it as like a beautiful way for you to bring all of the people who are interested in your work into the one contained space where you continue to show up and do your thing. And as you rise up the business ascension ladder and the personal leadership ladder, the more you show up, the more you come into your power, the more you share your message, you speak up, you share your story, you be really specific about the work that you do and the transformations that you experience, that you help your clients achieve. You use grounded outcomes and grounded languaging, and then you have offers that beautifully line up with where your clients, where your people are at. It's a really nice, it works really well. Yeah. Genevieve, I've got a Facebook group, but nothing is happening on it. No responses. I made it a couple of years ago, but I haven't been too consistent. So I will unmute you. Genevieve, is it still relevant to where you're at in your business now?
Yeah, it is. It's my Women's River Retreat Facebook group, because I ran women's spiritual retreats.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, I ran 3 or 4, and then I dropped the ball with it for about 15 months. And I dropped the ball with the retreats and with the Facebook page, and, you know, had a money making job or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, you know, I want to go back to that. It's all about the power of intention and getting people in touch with their deeper intentions to move forward in their life in the present moment.
Beautiful.
So that's what it's about, but I haven't been consistent on it. I've been posting things on it, and there's absolutely, I think it's because it's been such a challenging week and everyone's in overwhelm.
Yeah.
But there's been no interaction with anything. And also, I'm kind of trying to reconfigure everything, because I'm a celebrant as well, and I'm also, I'm shifting I've got 1,000 friends on my personal Facebook page, but I'm shifting it into Genevieve public figure now. And I guess I just want the messages of my healing work, which I've been. So just in January, I started going online with my business in tarot readings and. What I call Pathfinder, but I'm thinking I need to change that name now. But the Pathfinder is about making people feel safe, secure, and doing the healing work on them to release the old paradigms from their cells and belief systems. So it is in line with that feeling of safety work. I know I need to I only just started it, so I think I can rebrand that. Yeah. But also, this is all new to me, this world, so I kind of don't really know what I'm doing. But anyway, I just want to say thanks, Tash, for your total generosity today. I'm learning a lot, and you know, it's affirming a lot, and I really, really appreciate your work and leadership during this time.
Thank you. My feeling would be that your Facebook group could do with a rebrand. Potentially. So a new name, maybe new branding, new intention. Maybe you can keep the crux of the intention, but maybe you just bring it a bit more up to date with you now, where you're at now. I definitely wouldn't say you need to start a new one, but maybe make a post in there saying to everyone who's already in there, this is what's happening. I'm rebranding. I'm shifting. I'm shifting in my business. I'm shifting in my leadership. Here's what you can expect from now on. If you feel like it's not aligned with you, no judgment if you choose to step out. But you can have almost like an opening, a reopening party, right? Or something, or a launch. It doesn't have to be a big launch, of course, but something, maybe you have a week where you come in and you deliver training, like like a mini 5-day challenge. Yeah. So that starts to, and 5-day challenges are great for starting up communities, starting up Facebook groups, because they generate a lot of engagement, provided, Zoe's back in. Sorry, Zoe, just saw that you were back in there. Provided they're relevant to your client and to your soul client and to what they're dealing with right now. But I'm sure there's so much that you do based upon what I know of you and what you've just said that is very relevant. So is there a way that you could create a 5-day challenge? Have you done a 5-day challenge before? Have you partaken in one?
Not really.
Okay. So
I mean, I've done a, not really actually. I've done 30-day challenges, or, you know, like Rosie's challenges. And
it's the same. I mean, you could do a 3-day challenge, but I'm actually veering more. The next time I do one, I think I'll do a 3-day. Kind of by day 3, I was like, all right, okay, I still got 2 days to go. So 3 days are probably would be better to start. They do require a lot of energy, but they are fabulous for positioning yourself as an expert, as that go-to mentor. You can have like offer a free session for people that show up every day and do the work. Often people need an incentive like that. But when there is an incentive and that's valued, you say how much it's valued at, and it's, you know, a juicy offer that people would love to get that. That's when they're more likely to show up every day. And the good thing about that, you can choose whether or not you want to have that challenge lead into an offer with you, to work with you. That would be what I'd recommend. Although you don't have to. It could just be, I'm opening up the group and I'm going to do something, or I'm rebranding the group and I'm going to do something really fun, really cool. So have a play around with that. You might be your single session. It might be a free sales call if you're doing packages at the moment, higher end packages. It might be a paid group where you really dive into a lot more detail with things that you've covered in the challenge. But they're really good for community nurturing.
I'm just feeling like most people, I just want to give a lot right now. I just want to give of myself, and you know, and I just feel like there's a lot to download and share. And I need to step up to that. Like, I actually haven't really stepped into that space yet, but I know there's messages coming in and there's things to share.
But also don't be afraid of selling as well.
I'm a bit more afraid.
I can sense that. And you know, all of us as empathic, sensitive women, sales doesn't come easily, right?
No,
took me 8 years to learn how to be comfortable with sales. Once I felt comfortable with sales though, and I learned how to sell in a way that was really aligned with my values. And once I learned how to do that, it happened suddenly. It was a huge shift in how I was growing my business. Of course, this is now what I teach a lot of my clients, because it really took me working on the energetics, the mindset, and the strategy, which are my 3 pillars, and bringing all of them together in my sales system before I started to feel comfortable. So you've just got to find your own way with it. And it's testing and measuring and not being afraid to show up. And every time you do, make sure you celebrate that, because that's a big win. How does that feel?
No, it feels really good. I also, because it was a women's only page, I just feel like I want to invite men in there as well. Because my men friends kind of go, I want what you give to women. I want want that too.
Yeah. So do it if that's what your people are asking for. But say this is what you can expect over the next change. This is going to be opened up to men and women. Give people the option to opt out if they want, so that they kind of reconsent to be there, if that makes sense. And then absolutely, like both men and women need the work that we do, right?
I definitely think that's what it's about. It's not in this new shift. I felt that like 12 months ago anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got one man in my Facebook group, Andrew. I'd love more. I really am feeling more men in there.
And there's a lot out there. There's a lot out there that want to do the work.
Absolutely.
We just have to find them.
Absolutely. Maureen, thank you for your words. That's really kind. Technology a bit scary. Yeah, it gets easier as you go through. Saffron, that was great info about podcasts. Thank you. Something I've thought about, so might give that a go. Absolutely, Saffron, if you're still here, do it. Give it a go. And I don't have any personal experience with podcasts. It's been one of those things that's been on my list, like start a podcast. But I've had other things that I've ticked off first, but I'd really like to. Leanne, I've been working with Zoom and YouTube, really easy. Donna, if anyone needs a hand with podcasts, let me know. Thank you, Donna. Much appreciated. If you're still here, and I think you've left out. Have many people I can interview. How do you do that on Facebook from Zoom? Yeah, so you do that on Zoom. You need to have the paid version. I think it's $26 a month. And then you need to go into the back end of Zoom on the website, and I've got a little video that I made, which I can share with you around how to actually do it once you're in there. You need to click a particular setting to allow it, and then you can Zoom. You can link to your Facebook page or your Facebook group. I'm loving everything you're putting down, Tash. Thank you. Thanks, Danya. I love your work, darling. All right, I have a secret Facebook group for the people who have done courses with me. I have a large business page, and I was wanting to get people from there into a group and let the people who aren't engaged drop off. All right, Naya, I'll unmute you. So, so you've got the Facebook group, but it's a secret Facebook group. Would you consider
It's just for my students, and I want that one to stay as it is.
Sure.
But I want to start another one.
I see, yeah.
And I'm not quite sure how to go about inviting people, where to invite them.
So do you want people who are in that group to come over to, oh, that's what you just said. Yeah, you want to get people from there into.
I want to get, so I've got a large business group, I couldn't tell you, business page. And so I'm wanting people out of that to come into the new Facebook group. And then the people that just sort of liked my page that aren't really interested can just drop off, and I'm only speaking to the people who are actually interested in what I've got to say.
Yeah, so I would recommend, first of all, have, like I've said with the other Facebook group strategies, to be really specific about what you're doing in there, about who it's for. So who it's for, what are you doing in there, what can they expect to get out of it? And then what's like the incentive for them to be there? So you might do a weekly training, or you might, maybe people who are in there get, I don't know, hot seat coaching once a fortnight, or free readings, or, you know, not free reading, like obviously online readings, not actual sessions, but, you know, so something that can be seen as an incentive for them to be there, and then start promoting it, especially if this is a hot topic, if this is helping solve a current problem that people have, then start sharing it, talk about it on your business page, invite everyone personally, send people a virtual, a voice memo or a written message on Messenger, people who are in your old clients.
I'm finding I'm getting overloaded with everything on Messenger. Everyone's
fair enough.
Sending videos and all sorts of things. It's driving me nuts.
So if it's not the right platform,
and then inviting me into groups, which I'm not interested.
Yeah,
sort of an overwhelm at the moment. Isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But you might want to email people. You could have a play around with the 3-day challenge idea that I was talking about with Genevieve.
That sounds the best.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And especially if, like I said, that's going to be a hot topic that you're going to be solving, or a hot pain point. That's a really great way to start a Facebook group.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can share it on freebie days in other groups, and just kind of fall back on that.
Okay. Thank you.
No worries.
That's great. It's been great.
Awesome.
Got pages here.
Such a pleasure. All right, I'll keep looking in. Oh no, Zoe, can you keep letting me in? Oh no. Okay, she's in. Okay, there you are. Danielle, after releasing my old group, I'm feeling into a new group, but feel it would be for paid members of my new course. So Danielle, did you want to unmute yourself and we can have a chat? I don't know if you're there, if your kids are around, so just let me know. I'll keep having a look here. Oh, yep, there you are. Nope, okay, she might be busy. Donna, thanks, Tash. Pleasure. Lovely to see you too. Would it work to do a 3-day challenge live on my page? Yes, it would, definitely. However, the only thing with doing a free challenge on your page, in my opinion, is that you don't have you don't actually know who's following it. Because there's a lot of people who watch 5 free challenges and don't comment. When you have people in, so I actually recommend that you have an opt-in form for people to opt into your challenge, even if it's in your free Facebook group. That way you're collecting their email addresses and you have a specific set of leads, right, of prospects. You know exactly who's opted in. You can then retarget them again through some email marketing, and you might even like to reach out personally to people who've been highly engaged. So that I definitely recommend setting up an opt-in landing page for that. Hello.
Hey, Ash. Yeah, I'm just hiding in the bedroom from the kids. They're very noisy out there. But so it probably makes sense in that way to make up maybe just like a temporary group just for the challenge, so that it can keep track on it and do the opt-in and then add them to that group for that, and then sort of communicate, because I'd probably be doing it as a lead into the course that I'm looking at pulling together, which is taking my one-on-one program and making it for a group, like
we spoke about.
But I've sort of expanded on it, instead of it just being the first couple of weeks of my whole mastermind, just making it the whole thing, and just giving them lifetime access, so that when they're in, they've just I'll they'll get contact with me every week, and that just gives them the full scope of what I've got to offer in a group setting.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know your price points for this yet, or are you still
I was just finding it out this morning. So I was looking at it as a group program as a starting offer of $997, and having that as lifetime access.
Beautiful.
And I can do a 5-month payment plan, which brings it to $200 a month.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Yep, beautiful. And I think definitely launch it with some, whether it's a challenge or a webinar or a masterclass. You want to get the hype built for it, especially with a program, especially at that price point and above.
Yeah.
You want to start generating the hype and generating the awareness, right? So some sort of launch plan, which we can discuss in our one-on-ones. Okay. Some sort of launch plan, and then definitely have an opt-in so that you're gathering people's email addresses. But once again, you want to make sure that it's being specific to the problems that your clients are experiencing at the moment, of which we're very aware your work is really actually meets a lot of those requirements.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
My pleasure. Saffron, Tash helped me clear the sales block. Yay! So thrilled to hear that. Maureen, possible to have people's contacts with a view to continue sharing and possibly swapping. Sorry, Maureen, are you still here? Let me know what you mean by that. I'm not sure. Possible to have people's contacts with a view to continue sharing.
What I meant by that, Natasha, was people on this call.
Yeah, well, what we can do, I think most people who are in this call are in my Facebook group. Okay. I don't think you're in my Facebook group, so I'll bring you in, and then that's probably the best container. I think everyone's in there. I think, is there anyone who's not in my Facebook group? I think I mainly just advertised it in there, so that's probably the best way the best solution to that, I think, and then we can keep the conversation alive.
Great. So I'll do a post and tell people what I'm offering and then what I need. So
beautiful. How's this helped your strategy moving forward? What's present for you?
My take home from today.
Yeah.
The focus on providing the solutions for people, immediate solutions, to be pithy and focused on that, and a big overall picture too about the long view. Because we can talk about health and the immune system and all the rest of it, and that's crucially important, of course, now, especially if ever it wasn't. But to really be free of concerns about that and to live life in a more free, natural way, that's a bit fluffy. I know. I don't know how to make that. I guess I can make that more grounded.
Yeah.
To see what that looks like. But everything, I've taken copious notes, and I've got some to-dos.
Awesome.
Yeah, I've just gotten over my block about social media and the time that it takes, and the little small trickle of interest that you get from the beginning is all when you're in the middle of a very labor intensive thing. I have a shop called the Gut Shop at the farmers market. I make gut, and so it's very labor intensive. So I'm thinking the last thing I want to do when I have free time is sit on the computer. But I've gotten over that now somehow. I'm not quite sure how to did it, but thank God I'm over that block.
Yeah, and it's a long burn.
And because like today I'm chopping up lotus root, which is really good for the lungs. And I've taken photographs. I'm going to put those on Facebook now. And my Gut Shop page is linked to Maureen Regan, me. But sometimes I can't upload to the Gut Shop and I get frustrated. And I just give it, I think, well, it'll eventually load or eventually get it, not to but it's kind of like, I've gotten over that, I have to have it all sorted before I can do anything,
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. And it is, social media it's a slow burn, it's a long game.
Yeah.
And just, that's just the way that it is. It's like building any kind of platform or profile, and establishing credibility, which is really what we're doing. Establishing credibility and positioning ourselves as the go-to leader and mentor. It takes time. That's just what we've got to.
Yeah, and look, I'd also have to be quite candid. Like I've kind of gotten over the making a quick fortune or whatever kind of fantasy that I had to, if what I'm offering is useful for people, there will be an income from it. And it'll be a natural sort of evolution, you know, with joined with my commitment, of course, as well.
Yeah, beautiful.
So I suppose that's it. I've had a mindset shift, you know.
Yeah, and that's where it all begins.
Yeah.
So
thanks.
Such a pleasure. So lovely to have you here, Maureen.
Oh, and it's been wonderful listening to everybody else
too.
Wonderful women that are in your group.
Yeah, really awesome. Did anyone else have any other questions? Ramon, Jessica, I think I've spoken to everyone else, but is there anyone else with any other questions wanting to dive deeper into anything? If not, we might sign off. Alrighty.
Hi Tash, sorry.
Oh, hello. Nice
Hello,
to see
how are you? Nice to
I'm good. How are
nice
you?
To see the other ladies, and thank you for everything. I've made lots
Pleasure.
of notes. Yeah, it's feeling good. I'm ready to step into action.
Amazing. Amazing.
There's just a few things. A lot of my work is yoga, it's meditation, it's breath work, and usually provide service or modality group one-on-one.
Ramon, your internet connection, darling. I'll get you to turn your video off. I'll get you to turn your video off. I think that'll probably help the. Nice to see your face. I think that'll help.
Yeah, you too. All right, wait me a second.
There we go.
Here we go. How's that?
Yeah, I'll get you to start from the beginning if that's cool.
That's okay, no worries. So I was just saying the modalities that I offer are yoga, meditation, and breath work. So I usually conduct groups or one-on-one. So this whole online thing is just something I have no idea how to dive into. But I'm just thinking that, you know, the Facebook stuff is, you know, setting up a group, doing daily meditations or challenges in that way. And just starting it off is all free. Just getting a client base from there. So I've been taking lots of notes, but I'm thinking just the transition from doing one-on-one and group stuff that is with a healing modality quite intuitive and easier, I guess, to work face-to-face. So that's trying to bridge the gap.
Yeah, there's a few things there. I think most important, it's going to be most effective when you get really clear on who you're serving. So it's easy to not need to do this when we run a clinic, when we have a big referral network, when we have people referring friends and family and all of that. But when we start to create an online business, because it's such a crowded marketplace, the more narrowly focused we are on who we serve and what problems we help them solve, the better we're going to be able to stand out. So that would be my immediate thing to use, that get really clear on who is that person. This is a lot of what I do with my clients, because it can be quite, initially it can sound a little bit like arbitrary. It's like, oh, I want to help everyone, right? But often I call them your soulmate client, right? These are clients that I believe we actually have a bit of a soul contract to work together with them. When we work together, amazing things happen. I'm left transformed. They are left deeply transformed. And the ripple of impact is even greater then, right? So often your soulmate client is someone who was in a similar position to you a number of years ago, who are going through a similar journey that you've been through, that you're out the other end of now, that you can guide and mentor them through. So that would be my immediate thing, is to have a think about that. And then to think about how do you help them? What are the outcomes? What's the highest level transformation? And this requires us to really expand our perception of what we think we're doing with our clients, right?
Yeah.
Often what we think we're doing is actually not what we're really doing. We're often doing a lot more and facilitating a much greater transformation than what we think we're actually doing, but we're not claiming that, and we're often not charging for that. So considering the highest level transformation, considering who it is that you want to serve, you can have a whole range of different clients, A-grade clients, Z-grade clients, right? We all know what it's like to work with people who just aren't a good fit, and we don't want to be actually working with people like that. So the clearer you are on who that person is for you, who is that soulmate client, and then how you serve them, the highest level transformation, that would be the system, the strategy that I would be encouraging you to use to help get your platform built online. And then however you do that is your tool. Like, these are your tools. So you're not leading with your modalities. And this is, like I said before, it's a bit of a controversial topic when you're not used to this idea, because, you know, we love our modalities, and, you know, we are so drawn to them, and we know that they work, right? But at the heart of it, most people don't really care about the modality. They just want to know that you can help them. So what's the thing that you're helping them with? And then your modalities are your tools, right? Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. No, that's one. Yeah.
What does that spark for you?
It just makes sense. I think before it was always about, well, my modality is serving someone in one way or another.
Yeah.
But to even take that out of the picture and use that as the tool or the guide, that makes things so much easier.
It does. And it's actually really restrictive when we're marketing the modality. And we're focusing only on the modality. It's very restrictive, and we're also bound by the limitations of the modality as well.
Fabulous. Absolutely.
Yeah. So it might be that yoga and breathwork and meditation are the tools to help your clients go from pain into pleasure, but you're actually doing more than that as well, right? There's so much, there's the higher level transformation there. So my invitation to all of my clients and everyone who's in my community who resonate with my work is that we're not claiming the real value of what we do, the real transformation. So how can we do that? And that's just a couple of tools that we can use.
Fabulous. Thank you, Tash.
Such a pleasure.
Amazing. Well done, both.
Pleasure. Such a pleasure. All righty. I think that we can finish up. Yes, we're under 90 minutes. I wanted to keep it under 90 minutes. Does anyone have any final questions? All righty. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Natasha.
Such a pleasure. Have a great day, great week.
Yes, inspiring.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted most of all, is this is your time to shine, everyone, and this is your call for leadership. So take it and run with it, and I can't wait to see you on the other side.
On the other side, yay. Whatever that's going to look like. Yeah. Bye, everybody.
All righty.
Thanks, Josh.
Thanks, Natasha.
Bye.
Bye, thanks.
Bye.